This is a steep and winding gravel pass over the Kraaiberg mountain, which forms the southern barrier to the Bido Valley. The road connects the Bido Valley with the higher altitude farms to the south and the east. Some of the gradients are quite steep, and there are 3 hairpin bends to contend with. We would not recommend driving this pass in a normal car, but a high clearance bakkie will manage, except in very wet weather. There are long sections on this pass which are very stony and bumpy, which will present problems for low clearance vehicles. This pass also marks the western end or start of the old postal route, which is covered elsewhere on our website. At the start of the pass near the Mertenshof farm, open the farm gate and drive in, and remember to close it again behind you. This is a publicly accessible road, but please make sure that the gate is closed behind you, even if you're just going to quickly drive the pass. The road heads resolutely up the hill at a fairly easy gradient. It can be seen much higher up, twisting and turning through big switchbacks towards a low point in the mountains ahead. The big mountain to your left is the real Kraaiberg, which has a summit height of 930,9 meters. The road remains on the western side of a narrow ravine formed by the Klein Doring rivier as it ascends at a gradient of around 1 in 14 via a series of gentle corners. For your safety, we highly recommend tire deflation for this pass. Take your tires down to 1.2 to 1.4 bar. This will greatly improve traction, and especially so on the stony 1 in 5 climb along the final switchback. Besides the major benefit of improved traction, your passengers and yourself will also enjoy a much more comfortable drive, and an additional benefit is the reduction in the risk of getting a puncture. Changing a wheel on a steep incline is a risky story. Should this happen to you, there are several advisories on how best to deal with the situation. Firstly, get all your passengers out of the vehicle, which will reduce loading on the jack. Ask them to remain on the high side of the vehicle in case something goes wrong. The next step is to secure the vehicle so that it won't topple off the jack. Chock the 3 remaining wheels on both sides with large rocks. If there's another vehicle with you and it's at a higher elevation, secure the 2 vehicles by means of a tow strap and take up any slack. Always carry a flat piece of wood to support the foot of the jack and prevent it from sinking into softer surfaces once under load. It's a good policy to carry a tin of commercial tire sealant with you, and in cases where changing a tire is too dangerous, use the temporary tire fix to get yourself to a more level and safe area where a normal wheel change can be done. Most drivers simply wanting to enjoy the pass should turn around just after the summit point, where another gravel road enters from the right. Don't take this gravel road, as it's on private property and ends at the main gravel road between Bido and Wuppertal at a closed and locked gate. This road forms the second half of the Bido Breekrans 4x4 route, for which you require a permit and gate keys. These are obtainable at the Mertenshof farmstead. At the 2.2 kilometre mark, the first set of switchbacks have to be tackled. Here the gradient gets suddenly steeper to below 1 in 5 as the road rapidly turns through the double switchback. The first hairpin has an angle of 170 degrees and the second one is a full 180. As one drives through these big changes in direction, your passengers will be able to enjoy the rapidly changing vistas of the mountains, but once through the switchbacks, the direction settles back down again into the south-southeast. Once through the switchbacks and hairpins, the road precariously follows the left-hand side of a dramatic ravine. If you want to stop and take photos here, rather carry on for another 100 meters or so, where it's much safer to stop. The ravine on the right more or less marks the halfway spot of the pass. Next up is a long straight stony climb of 600 meters, whereafter the road turns away to the west in a wide right-hand bend of 90 degrees. From this vantage point, the rest of the pass can be clearly seen carved out of the mountainside in a double switchback. The beautiful Bido Valley is renowned for the magnificent springtime floral display that erupts just after the first rains each year. Local farmers keep the animals from the carpets of flowers so that us mere mortals can enjoy this beautiful Garden of Eden experience. It's not only the visual impact, but the gorgeous fragrances, so taking a picnic basket to enjoy al fresco is a must. If you visit here at any other time of the year, the rooibos tea plant, which is indigenous to the Cederberg, dominates the valley. This is the approach to the much wider third hairpin and lasts for 560 meters. Along this section there are beautiful views over the Bido Valley, and Hoekseberg Pass can be clearly seen in the distance on the far side of the valley, snaking its way down the mountainside towards the Mertenshof farm. The final hairpin occurs at the 3.9 kilometre point and curves steeply through 155 degrees as the heading changes into the east. The gradient remains very steep, at or below 1 in 5 along this final climb towards the summit, as the road follows a very wide right-hand curve for the next 500 meters. Make a note to stop at the 4.4 kilometre point, which is not the true summit, but it's the best place to stop to enjoy the views. From here the view is simply out of this world. The elevation gives one a great perspective of the size and scope of this part of the northern Cederberg, and more specifically the beautiful Bido Valley. To reach the true summit, drive further for another 600 meters till you reach the 5.1 kilometre point where the pass officially ends. The road can be seen heading away over the low ridges on the mountaintop, which is part of the old postal route. Once you've enjoyed the expansive views, return back to the start by the same route unless you're driving the old postal route.